See, you flying monkeys and idiots listening and following behind other idiots who are under judgment already, who are already possessed and obsessed with entity attachments, and you dummies come along as new recruits listening to these idiots, are putting yourself at risk of being, handled and dealt with by the spirit realm and forces that are unseen because of the actions and energy that you all are exerting. All of you say that you agree and believe in do unto others as you would have it done unto you or returned unto you. All of you devils that's wearing a mask within these religious institutions and fraternities on the surface say all the right things, right? What goes around comes around. There's penalties, the wages of sin is death, and you know do unto others as you would have it done unto you. Yet you allow these clowns and idiots to recruit you to disrespect the sanctity and solitude of the spirit world, of one's prayer and meditation and connecting with the divine. See, this is what happened a few years ago when the tables truly began to turn on this entire criminal organization of bullies and clowns and idiots. You all thought it was funny and thought it was a game to disrupt and disturb my prayer and my meditation and get in the middle, right? And when you saw my eyes closed, you would send your idiot flunkies, hey, you got a cigarette? Or you would create a noise campaign and play loud music to create disturbances and distractions. But all that did was allow me to focus my attention on further advancing my concentration to block out the noise campaign. So you actually assisted with me being able to get stronger in that regard. Thank you, dum dums. However, the penalty for your disrespect and disregard of one's sanctity and solitude to disrupt with intentions, their ability to connect with the divine means that you all have no clue on the connection and the outcome of what you can expect to come back towards you a thousandfold. See, this is what happens when you go as far as to disrespect the spirit world, the beloved angels and ancestors, and their loved ones being able to connect, which has nothing to do with you spiritual hating ass devils. But because of your envy, your jealousy, and your ignorance, you think that you can use your time and your energy to be so obsessed, hyper focused, to disrupt somebody else's ability to heal, to pray, to meditate, to connect with the divine. These are all major, major, major violations, irregardless if you think so or not, believe so or not, or accept it or not. You're going to see by way of the outcome of what returns back to you all, dummies, of the effort you put in by being disrespectful and disregarding the ancestors, the spirit world, and these high level, beings who, have the most, authority to bring down judgment on you all. And yeah, technically, we know that there's a hierarchy and not all spirit teams and ancestors have the same rank and all that. We know that. But in this regard, we're talking about imagine or just assume in this particular instance, your disrespect and disregard is reaching the levels of the divine where the most powerful, potent beings are going to bring judgment down on your entire criminal network of clowns and bullies and spiritual haters. Because you don't have the right to play God in someone else's life and disrespect their prayer time and meditation. Now, I want you to consider this, idiots. Whenever you or your loved one finds yourself in a unexpected, ill-fated event, let's say you're in your car, let's say you're on vacation, let's say something happens out of the blue because none of you idiots control or can foresee what is to come by way of the divine or the forces of nature, which is included in your disrespect, right? Should you suffer an ill-fated event, let's say your car flips over, maybe not you, maybe someone you love, and it flips over multiple times. And let's say, be it the emergency or on scene, you begin to pray for your so-called loved ones. Because I question if you really do, love anybody for you to participate in this level of disrespect. I'm thinking that most of you are just narcissistic sociopaths who lack empathy and logic and reasoning all the way around. But let's say, for argument's sake, you do happen to have loved ones, and let's say, for argument's sake, even though we disagree, we really truly believe that you're narcissistic sociopaths. But let's just say, technically, for argument's sake, that you all have empathy and logic and reasoning, yet you're dumb enough to participate in these type of atrocities and diabolical behavior, etc., and disrespect. Should you find yourself in an ill-fated event and you begin to pray for the ones that you so-called love, or even yourself, do you believe and do you think that anyone is going to answer that call or that prayer? Do you think, by way of your idiotic participation and behavior at disrespecting and disregarding somebody else's prayer and meditation, that somebody is going to show up for you and answer the call, answer your prayer, and come through for you? Or do you believe in those moments, those ill-fated moments, when you call out, "Oh God, mommy," or whatever it is you call out, "Please, please, okay, I'm sorry." Do you think that somebody's going to answer your prayer based on your behavior and you thinking it was funny and okay to play with somebody and block somebody else's ability to go within and to have peace, minding their business? All of your dumbass flying monkeys, male and female, these idiots, these clowns, male and female, are part of your whack criminal organization, fraternities and sororities and criminal religious institutions that you send to have their dogs, you know, come close or hide behind trees and bushes and stand over people's shoulders recording and standing close, and your eavesdroppers and ear hustlers. Do you all really think that there's an end game for you all? Maybe you do. Maybe that's why you do it. Maybe you really truly believe that you're going to outsmart, outwit, and dominate the universe. Maybe you dummies truly believe that your will is going to force and dominate the universe and the overall beloved angels and ancestors and ancient supreme beings. Maybe you idiots are dumb enough to believe that your will, your titles, your buddy system, your corrupt criminal organization and mafia-style criminal network is going to dominate the universe, universal law, and the most supreme beings in all of existence who you cannot see. Maybe you truly believe that. Maybe that's why you do what you do, and you believe there's no consequences whatsoever. Or maybe, deep down within, there's an inkling that you know better. You know the end game is not going to end well for you, but because of your corrupt nature, you can't help yourself. You have to go along with how you've been wired and programmed, because that's how you've been wired and programmed. Now, within, you do know the end game is not good. It's not going to end well. Whether it is the remainder of your time here and having to come back and repeat multiple cycles of desolation and poverty and illness and, whatever it is that is judged upon you for your actions, whether it's here or within the spiritual realm as you go through your orientation. If you're lucky, you'll be able to come back and pay off your karmic debt. However, most of you will simply be devoured and unable to return. You'll just be removed from all existence permanently, unable to come back and get it right, because that's just how much karmic debt through the roof that some of you demons and devils have obtained and accumulated. Some of you will just simply be removed from all of existence for all time. And then some of you will have to come back to experience what you put others through, and see how you like it and see how you fare when you're in situations where seemingly no one is at your beck and call to assist you because you idiots thought it was okay to participate and do it to others who wasn't even thinking about you. But because you're so obsessed and your whole criminal network, a bunch of judgmental idiots. Listen, everybody knows and says if you don't like somebody, it costs you nothing to mind your business and leave them be. Don't pay them any mind whatsoever. But when you have a whole corrupt criminal organization of idiots and clowns who think y'all really doing something special, and you dispatch all the rest of your idiots and clowns to harass and be hyper focused over and play this whole Truman Show type game, do you really think you're hurting that individual, or do you think you're creating and accumulating generational curses upon yourself, your lineage, and your bloodline? What do you really truly think? Because at the end of the day, the person that you've been trying to overcome, overtake, dominate, create demise and hardships, you've created temporary situations where they learn the strength of their own character, the ability of their own will, and the opportunity to truly see who is who in those moments, who will come to their aid, who will remain on the sidelines, soliciting, giving unsolicited advice from the sidelines, quarterbacking from the sidelines. Those who were courageous enough to step up, speak up, and assist. Those who were cowards and continue to hide. You give the opportunity for um, beings like myself to truly see who is who in those moments and to never forget it. And to also take stock of all of you flying monkeys, clowns, and idiots who feel empowered by ganging up on one person or a few people. If this is being done, most likely it is in different areas with other different divine beings who holds certain energy that y'all jealous of, envious of, hyper focused over. See, you all truly think that the end game is you skating off into the sunset with no consequence, when all you're doing is trapping yourself in all realms of existence, setting yourself up to have to contend with the same energy that you put out there. And you're going to have to experience multiplied by the consistency and the intentions and the actual deeds and behavior of what you thought was okay for others. So you thought that always eavesdropping and being, which there's laws against. There's actual laws against eavesdropping and stealing people's personal identity and being hyper focused on their personal information that's supposed to be private, yet you're standing over their shoulder stealing it and recording it with your phone. There's actual laws on the books in several states, possibly all states. Maybe not all, but majority of states, there's laws on the books for, about eavesdropping. It's against the law. It's a crime. And we know that you cowards know that you're breaking the law because you behave just as that, cowards. You sneak and do what you do and play it off in plain sight, following behind punks and idiots who got titles and position and corrupt bisexual cops who's soliciting and recruiting their tribe. And this is where you get twisted femininity from males behaving and acting like deranged females. Now we know that men who lose an opportunity with a good woman, they stalk women. But you never really seen men stalk other men until now with these new groups of people. So that lets you know you're dealing with a whole group, literally, not opinionated. You're dealing with a literal group of secret downloads. And I learned this several years back. There's groups within groups. You have straight out LGBTQ that, certain members of that community allowing themselves to be recruited into criminal activity, though they complain about not feeling protected some years back. Then you have a whole secret group of downloads connected with certain fraternities. Within those fraternities, that usually walk around with the bald head and the salt and pepper beard. They all mirror each other to a certain extent, to a large degree. Many of them have wives living a double life. Then you have, regular young men that's being recruited to mirror, mimic, and behave, and being trained to behave like, downloads, or setting them up to be trained in that manner, because you're taking young men and presenting opportunities like it's a good opportunities, instead of sending them off to receive training and, acquired skills. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC, HVAC, etc., barbers, truck drivers, stuff that's actually needed in the world and society. You all are training these young men, our young men, to stalk other dudes, training them to have twisted feminine energy, because never in the history of manhood have you ever seen somebody's strong, powerful uncle or pop smoke his pipe and sit back in his recliner, all of a sudden tell, mama, I'll be back. I'm getting ready to go stalk this dude and pocket watch this dude. I'm getting ready to go hide behind trees and bushes in the park and worry about and watch another man. You never seen a real man that represents himself as a real man, not twisted feminine energy, not secret group of downloads, not these new age individuals that's obsessed and possessed and into low vibrational practices. You never seen a real man represent himself with no twisted feminine energy. And this is how you know you're dealing with something different. And no, we are not condemning and speaking on people's sexual preference, so don't try to twist it. And no, we are not judging people based on their sexual preference. We respect and have love for everybody, regardless. However, if you're a criminal and an idiot, you're a criminal and you're an idiot. And we call it how it is, period. So now, the end game for you all. Some of you, many of you, don't believe in consequences for your actions and behavior, because you believe in what you can see only: your corrupt buddies, your titles, and what you normally used to get away with. Others of you, narcissistic sociopath, know deep down of what is headed toward you, but what can you do? Your very corrupt nature says, I'm wired this way, right? So it is what it is. You cross that bridge when you get there. But at the same time, those of you who know better and should know better had ample opportunity to turn around, walk away, and save yourselves. What are you sticking around a bunch of idiots and devils for when you know better? When you received the warnings and the writing on the wall, and you still remain. Why? Because they was paying your mortgage, they was paying your car note, or they kept making promises that they never was going to fulfill, or they was crying in your ear and begging you, please hang in there, please don't leave, please, I got another stupid plan that's gonna work, please. And you just kept going along with dumbass plan after dumbass plan, empty promise after empty promise, lie after lie, obsession after obsession, stupidity after stupidity. And even then, you still didn't look at yourself in the mirror and say, enough is enough. It ends right now, right here, not going no further with this stupidity. And you just said, okay, I'll let them put more stuff in my drink. I'll let them put more stuff in my food. I'll let them keep commissioning spell work to have me in a mental fog. I'll get clarity 1 second or 1 day, and then the next day I'm back into a mental fog. Instead, as soon as you got clarity, you were supposed to act and move right then and there, boom, and not look back. But you want to be stuck in those situations with these dumbass devils. You want to be stuck. You don't want to take full responsibility and accountability for your actions. You want to be entrapped with these devils because you're embarrassed about the choices you made. So you want to hide behind your embarrassment instead of own up to it, admit it, and get yourself back on track. That's the only way out, is true confession, honesty, not trying to breadcrumb the truth, Not believing in some idiot that's promising you more dumbass plans. The next plan, the next dumbass plan is gonna really truly work. Watch. The next dumbass plan is gonna work. Watch. Just hang in there. Stop being a coward. Stop being a sellout. Stop giving up so early. Why don't you hang in there in this criminal networking organization that's leading us all to hell? Hang in there. Why you gotta give up on being an idiot and a clown and a bully and a dummy and giving up on this one-way train ticket to hell and lifetimes of misery? Why you want to give up on that? Why you trying to walk away and get yourself back in good standing? Why you don't want to believe in the institution of this illusion of a bunch of clowns and idiots and bullies, a bunch of sellouts and clowns, and we all trauma bonding together, believing in lies and illusions that's taking us absolutely nowhere, all because the person that you're following has an entity attachment. So you allow yourself to go further down that rabbit hole to where you're embarrassed and you're stuck and or entrapped by poor health now because they most likely spread something to you. Or you're trapped because of bad contracts, or you're trapped because now your finances is all messed up and you want to keep up appearances instead of saying, life ain't what I was projecting it to be. Let me stop fronting and pretending and just be honest and get myself together and start over again. As long as I get away from these devils, this devil, these clowns, and pull myself up and own up to what I participated in and go in the wrong direction. Let me release whatever contracts or whatever it is I gave up, and I allowed these devils, to get me caught up in. Let me go ahead and let that go. They can have whatever project that was, whatever publishing that was, and I'll go ahead, start a new one. But as long as I'm, regain my power, my sovereignty, my freedom, my ability to, have my own autonomy without being connected with a bunch of, clowns and idiots, this demonic cult and criminal network and organization of sellouts that'll sell their own mama out for chump change and illusions. And then so you have all these devils that participate, setting themselves up for generational curses over themselves and their bloodline for their participation. So every time you disrespect somebody's ability to connect with the divine and go within that's minding their business, only thing you're doing is setting yourself up for your prayers not to be answered when you're going to need it the most. And it's going to be crafted and designed by way of the divine, the spirit world, that you are going to need deliverance, mercy, and healing. And there's not going to be no one there to answer your prayer because you thought it was funny to block and prevent somebody else from spending their personal time. You want to invade their personal space. You want to violate their personal space and boundaries. You want to violate their energetic boundaries and think that you're getting away with that. Think it's okay to send your cronies and minions and flying monkeys to violate their personal space and stand over their shoulder and record and, distract them and disturb them from, connecting with the divine. If you idiots did any type of research, you will find that's a major violation. And those who are learned within the spiritual, real shaman, I'm not talking about, half-ass spiritualists. I'm talking about real reputable shaman that do this and have done this for real, will tell you that is a major violation. People who eavesdrop and, creep and disturb spiritual practices, disturb spiritual ceremonies, and stick their nose within spiritual ceremonies, the spirits and everything in that vicinity sees you, marks you, and you may even experience, blindness, mental instability, insanity, lose your mind. Something will end up happening that you, by way of your choices, brought upon yourself. Now, the thing about you clowns and idiots, as a demonic cult and a criminal organization, you go throughout the community spreading lies, defaming people's character, commissioning spell work, death spells, poverty spells. Then, when you don't receive the results and it begin to backfire and backlash on you, now you clowns get nervous and scared and start lying some more, adding on to the previous lies and saying, oh, that person is connected to a demon. That person don't have spiritual gifts. That person is connected. That person is doing evil stuff. No, no, no. You dummies and devils is doing evil stuff by way of your hate and jealousy and envy, not minding your business, not leaving people alone, stalking like weirdos, paying for spell work to swap destinies and to be with somebody's person and interfering in their love life and their relationships and their connections and partnerships. You dummies is doing evil, right? But when you start to feel that backfire, the same thing that you dished out and thought was okay for everybody else, you can't even handle it yourself. And it ain't even fully got started yet. And y'all devils is already mad and nervous and scared and can't handle it. And it ain't even, the ball ain't even really get rolling yet. And y'all already scared. But yet it was okay for you to do it to me and other people, other innocent souls. In the backlash, you're starting to pick up on it. You're starting to feel it. You too dumb to walk away from the obsessed entity attachment individuals that's leading y'all to hell. You're too dumb to walk away, right? Turn them in, turn them over, walk away, get away from them, shut it down. You're too dumb to do that. But as you keep going, you're already scared and nervous of the energetic pushback that's coming back your way. And it hasn't even fully hit yet. And you can't even handle what you thought was okay to do to other innocent souls. You see, this is why y'all are a bunch of clowns, idiots, cowards. Because the stuff that y'all want to do to other people, you can't handle it when it's coming back towards you. That's how you know you're following a bunch of idiots and cowards. Nobody should be empowered and emboldened by stalking and ganging up on one person. That's not a fair fight. And anybody in their right mind should say, this is wrong. But cowards, bullies, and clowns who have a inflated self-importance that's not real, that's not there, you know, usually turn a blind eye and think it's funny to create demise in other people's lives just because of jealousy, envy, hatred, misery loving company, somebody having a particular light and particular ability, somebody having the courage to go within and heal and address their issues because you're a coward and you don't want to do it. You don't want to put the work in. You mad at somebody who does. And then you send all your idiots to stalk, harass all these sellouts and clowns in the community. Yeah, yeah. What you think the end game gonna be? No matter what your opinion is, no matter what your will is, no matter who your corrupt buddies are, what you think the end game is gonna be?